So Compton effect is a very wonderful experimental observation, and this in this observation, this is just like a photoelectric effect that some X-ray, and this is high energetic X-ray, will come to electron, and after then we have seen some uh, basic phenomena. And what is this basic phenomena? We will just try to understand. And this phenomena is not going to understood by the basic classical theory or the electromagnetic theory of light. So how we can understood this particular phenomena? Then this is very interesting. What is the experiment? First, I will just tell you what is experiment. Experiment is very simple. There is electron, and right now we are assuming this is free electron. This is free electron, and why it is free, I will discuss into the next class. Why we are saying that it is free electron, but today this is assumption the electron is free. So if electron is free, and we just impose some light in form of X-ray impose on this, then what we have seen that this electron will recoil, and we have also one detector where we will try to see the basically what will happen to this particular light pulse, what will happen to this particular light pulse at some different angle. What we have seen, we have just plotted basically intensity versus lambda for different angle. We have just plotted intensity versus lambda for different angle. First we have plot for theta is equal to 0. We have seen this kind of plot is there. This kind of plot is there. Now, if we are going to change, suppose we have changed this theta from theta is equal to 0 to, let's say, pi by 2, then we have some different kind of situation. Again, we are just plotting intensity versus lambda. What we have observed, suppose we are just plotting for theta is equal to, let's say, pi by 2. What is meaning of that? I mean, detector will be just here. So we have seen theta is equal to pi by 2. What we have seen? We have seen not one particular peak, rather we have seen two different peaks. So we can have this kind of situation. And one peak is exactly the same wavelength of lambda, and another peak is have sufficient different wavelength delta lambda. So initially if we assume that light is electromagnetic wave, then what will happen? If light is electromagnetic wave, means the electric field is oscillating, and if it will interact with the free electron, then what will happen? Electron will also oscillate and it will radiate that wavelength. And if it will radiate that wavelength, we assume that wavelength will be same one for which this incoming light is there. So from the classical theory, we are not able to understand, if we are changing this angle, why this new wavelength is there. Suppose this is initial wavelength lambda and this is new wavelength lambda dash, and it is changing with the angle. It is changing with the angle, and it has seen that this delta lambda maximum at theta is equal to pi. So this will be the maximum at theta is equal to pi. But if light will behave classically, or light will be just only electromagnetic wave, then after changing this angle, this scattered wavelength must be same. So why this scattered wavelength is there? This is not explained by basically the classical theory of electromagnetic wave. So how we can explain it? How we can explain it? So this can be again explained by the theory that light is nothing but a particle, and its energy will dependent on basically frequency or wavelength. What what is this thing? So if it is a particle, then obviously it must behave just like as a particle, and there must be some like just like a collision problem. So this all concept will be just like a collision problem. What we have seen that there is, suppose this is my axis of reference, and this is my incoming wave of wavelength lambda, and this is my outgoing or scattered wave of wavelength lambda dash. And I can take this angle as, let's say this angle is phi, and phi is the known as a scattering angle, and this angle is theta. Theta is the angle of recoil of electron. So what is phi? Phi is the scattering angle, of X-ray, and theta is recoil angle of electron. And please mind it, this electron is treated as free, but there is logic why we are treated as free. This is a different case, we will discuss later. But before that, let's try to explain from where this lambda dash is coming. So what is the assumption behind that? Assumption behind that is that light is light is not behaving just like as an electromagnetic wave, but light is just behaving like a massless particle, and which is known as photon. And this particle will collide to this particular electron and give some energy to this electron such that it can recoil with some momentum. So let's say this momentum is p, and it also produce another scattered wave which will have different wavelength lambda dash, but I can make sure that this wavelength is less than lambda, because this so why this is less than lambda? Because this is less energetic particle. So whatever be the energy coming from incoming wave will be distributed into two parts. One part will be producing this particular scattered wave of some lambda dash, which will be less energy than this one, and another energy will give to the kinetic energy of electron. So it has some kinetic energy of electron. So energy of this particular electron means kinetic energy of this particular electron, and energy of this particular wavelength of this particular scattered wave must be equal to energy of incoming wave. So this is just like a behavior of elastic collision. This is something like behavior of elastic collision. And as well, so if it is elastic collision, the energy must be conserved, as well as we can see that momentum can be conserved. Is that our mechanical theory of conservation of momentum and conservation of energy will leads to this particular can give conclusion that there is existence of delta lambda, and this theoretical thing will be exactly matched to the experimental thing. So let's try to go for what will be actual calculation behind this, and the calculation is very nice, and you have to do this calculation once again and again, because lot of time the people will ask question directly from the calculation part. So if you will not remember the step of this calculation, then it will be very difficult to solve the problem. Otherwise, the for solving the problem have only one particular formula. So let's go for calculation. So first we will go for conservation of momentum, and then we will go for conservation of energy, and then we will see how this delta lambda will be function of this particular phi. So my scattering angle is phi. So I will just take this scattering angle is phi. Okay, from this calculation I will take a scattering angle is phi and theta is recoil angle. So this will be I versus phi. Just you can take phi is your scattering angle. So initially I have taken theta, but right now for the calculation purpose I have just written phi is the scattering angle and theta is the recoil angle. So let's try to go for this. So I have to make this picture again such that I can use all this space for the calculation. And look at this calculation is very interesting. And you will feel that this is nothing, not the calculation of wave, but rather this is a simply calculation of two particle collision as you are doing into your basically +2 level or in your mechanics. So just try to see what we are going to do. So I will use all this space. So this will be incoming wave. This will be free electron. So this is free electron. So we know also rest mass of electron. And this will be scattered wave. This will be lambda dash. This will be lambda. And I have taken this angle is phi. Again, I am saying that I am taking phi is the scattering angle. And this will be recoil electron which has momentum p. And this angle is theta. Again, I am writing phi is a scattering angle and theta is basically recoil angle for electron. So now I assume this is my x-axis. So momentum is a vector quantity. So what we have to do? We have to just conserve the momentum for x-axis as well as for y-axis. So what will be momentum associated to this particular wave X-ray? What will be momentum associated to this? So momentum associated to this will be hc upon lambda. Sorry, I will take in term of mu. So if this has initially this will be nu and this will be nu dash. Obviously lambda dash is greater than lambda and nu dash is less than nu. So this is the fact, because if lambda is greater then nu must be smaller. So what will be incoming momentum? So this is in the x direction. So this will be, so I am taking momentum along x-axis. X-axis. So this is momentum along x-axis, conservation of momentum. So this will be h nu upon c. I am taking this x-axis must be equal to h nu dash upon c cos phi plus what will be momentum? This momentum is p. So this will be p cos theta. So this is momentum along x-axis, and then we will go for momentum along y-axis. And y-axis there is not any momentum because we assuming this is my x-axis. So this is 0. So another part will be go into this direction and this will go into this direction. So we can just say h nu dash upon c sin phi. So I can take this one is positive, then this one is negative, minus p sin theta. So from these two equations, I can just use some calculation. So what I am going to do, I will keep this thing into this side, this thing into this side. I am interested into phi and nu actually. So I will just want to remove the theta part. So how we will remove this theta part? We will just square both sides and add it. So what we are going to do, we will just, so if we will square and add it, then what will happen? Cos square theta and sine square theta is equal to 1. So we will just use this thing. So how we can write all this particular thing? We can write h nu upon c minus h nu dash upon c cos phi plus h nu dash upon c sin phi whole square must be equal to p square. I am just doing calculation. Are you agreed with this? Just look at here. What I am doing, I am saying again that I will take this thing there. I will take this thing there. So minus minus will cancel. So we are just squaring and adding. So we have p square. And then, so what we can do, we can just remove all this c square. So I will take c square onto another part. So what will happen? So this will be p square c square. Now I can just open it up. So if we will open it up, then we have h nu square and plus, please look at here. This will be h nu dash square cos square phi, and this will be h nu dash square sin square phi. So cos square phi plus sin square phi is equal to 1. So this value is equal to also h nu dash whole square. Now, if we will do a square plus b square we have used, now there will be minus 2ab. So what will be this minus 2ab? That will be minus 2h nu into h nu dash cos phi must be equal to p square c square. So this is equation 1. Look at. So this is equation 1. So from the conservation of momentum and doing some exercise, we have used this calculation. Now, let's go to conservation of energy. So what will be conservation of energy? Can I say this is h nu can be divided, this is incoming energy, will be divided, or I can write it little bit upper because I have to use all space such that you can ask any question in at a time. So this will be h nu is equal to, so this is incoming, so this is energy. I am just talking about energy. H nu is equal to, this energy will be divided into two parts. The first part will be it will just produce this particular scattered photon. So it has also some energy, and this energy is equal to h nu dash and plus kinetic energy of the electron. So what is kinetic energy of the electron? Here we are taking the relativistic energy because this X-ray have high energetic X-ray. It has approximately 100 electron volt kind of situation. It has this sort of energy. So this will be, we will use the relativistic energy. So what is relativistic energy? The total energy. What is total energy? P square, C square, m naught square, C4 root under, this is the total energy minus rest mass energy. So this is very simply, this is nothing but the kinetic energy of, this is all about kinetic energy of electrons. This is root under, so I can use different color also. So this will be all about root under of this particular thing. Okay, now what we are going to do, we will just subtract it and take m naught c square here, and we will just square both sides. So what we can write? We can write h nu minus h nu dash whole square. Sorry, this will be h nu minus h nu dash. What I am saying. So this will be also come into this side. So this will be h nu dash minus m naught c square is equal to p square c square plus m naught c square root under. Okay, don't worry. So this will be plus. Okay. So this will be plus. So now we will just do the whole square. So what will happen? H nu minus h nu dash whole square plus this will be m naught square c4. So this will be m naught square c4 plus we have h nu minus h nu dash into m naught c square must be equal to p square c square plus m naught square c4. So what will happen? This term and this term will be cancel out. So again what will have? What will
Sir,
huh?
2 times.
This will be 2 time. This will be 2 time. Yes, this will be 2 time. 2 तो रहेगा ही, तभी तो कैलकुलेशन हो पाएगी. ठीक है? So this will be 2 time, and here we have only p square c square. So now we can just open it up. We can open it up. What will be happen? H nu square plus h nu dash square minus 2 h nu dash plus 2 h nu minus h nu dash m naught c square must be equal to p square c square. So you can see what I have done. This is my second equation. Now it will be shortened. Don't worry. So what we have right hand side here we have p square c square. Left hand side and right hand side here it is also p square c square. So what we can do? We can just equate this term to this term, isn't it? We can equate all these term to this term. So there is not any problem. So which term is going to cancel out? So this term and this term is going to cancel out. These all term. Only which term will remain? This term is going to remain and this term will going to remain. So if you can check, we can cancel out both term because I cannot write the whole expression together. So if you are equating equation 1 and equation 2, we are just equating equation and equation 2. What we can do? H nu square, h nu dash square, h nu square, h nu dash square will cancel out. So these terms are cancel out. What we have? We have minus 2 h nu dash cos phi must be equal to this term, that will be minus 2 h nu dash plus 2 h nu minus h nu dash m naught c square. So again 2 will be cancel out from everywhere. What we can do? We can take this term in this side. We are just writing this term in this side. So what will happen? I can write h nu minus h nu dash must be equal to, I can take h nu and this will be m naught c square is also there. So this is very important. So you can take m naught c square is equal to h nu into h nu dash. This will be in this side, so this will be plus. And finally, we have 1 minus cos phi. 1 minus cos phi. And now what we are doing, we will just divide this thing from here. You can just divide this thing here. So what you have, 1h will be I will take here. So 1h will be cancel out. And 1h I will take here and I will divide it. So we have 1 upon nu dash upon 1 upon nu. We are dividing with nu and nu dash on both sides. And here is m naught c square is equal to h and that will be 1 minus cos phi. And now take one c here, then this will be c upon nu square. So that is lambda dash minus lambda must be equal to h upon m naught c 1 minus cos phi. And here this is all about identified as the relation for Compton effect, and this lambda dash minus lambda is identified as change in wavelength. So this is typically identified as change in wavelength. So this is change in wavelength, and change in wavelength is equal to h upon m naught c, and this will be 1 minus cos phi. And phi is your scattering angle, and once we will see this expression, we can easily explain that there is some I versus lambda, and if phi is equal to, let's say, pi by 2, then there is some wavelength change in wavelength. There is two peaks. One is the at the incoming wavelength, and exactly one is the at the scattered wavelength. So there is two peak. So this can be easily explained by this particular Compton effect. So this is very interesting thing. What is happening, how this is happening, I will discuss tomorrow, but I have to derive one more thing. So first I will derive that thing. So right now, this particular delta lambda will be exactly
m naught c square आएगा.
m naught c आएगा, m naught c square नहीं आएगा, m naught c आएगा.
सर एम नॉट सी स्क्वायर यहाँ है ना, और एक सी यहाँ तो नहीं है, कैंसिल कैसे हुए?
अरे c को यहाँ पर एक साथ ले जाओ तो c बाई न्यू डैश इज इक्वल टू लैम्डा डैश.
सही है सर.
अरे भाई ये डायरेक्ट यहाँ नहीं लिखा, एक c को यहाँ पर ले आया. 1c, then you will just write c upon nu dash, c upon naught, then now this is this. C upon nu dash is lambda dash. Okay? So there is not any problem. इतना तो पता होना चाहिए. Okay. So what we have seen that this will just tell you all about your how this scattering angle will measured, and how this delta lambda can be explained by the conservation of momentum and conservation of energy, exactly as a particle nature of particle nature of light. Now what is my next target? My next target is what will be recoil energy of electron and what will be recoil angle of electron. So today we will just go for all the derivations. So we have to calculate what will be recoil angle and recoil energy. So these two are also very important thing. So let's try to calculate all these things. So obviously recoil. So first let me calculate what will be recoil energy of electron in term of nu or lambda dash. So we have done it, but we can write in term of lambda. So what will be incoming energy? The incoming energy is hc upon lambda, and what will be radiating, scattered energy of photon? That will be hc upon lambda dash, plus that is kinetic energy of electron. So what is kinetic energy of electron? The kinetic energy of electron is identified as hc upon lambda minus hc upon lambda dash, and lambda dash we can find from here, and this expression will tell you upon lambda dash minus lambda is equal to h upon m naught c 1 minus cos phi. So what is lambda dash? Lambda dash is equal to, basically if you can calculate this delta lambda, so this will be lambda plus delta lambda. So I can easily calculate delta lambda from, we can calculate from this scattering angle of X-ray, and lambda dash we can find lambda plus lambda dash. So what is kinetic energy of recoil electron is basically hc upon lambda minus hc upon lambda plus lambda dash. So once you will calculate delta lambda, then you can easily find the kinetic energy of electron. So this is a lot of time this question have asked into your exam, because in this question you have to indirectly use the value of delta lambda. They will give the scattering angle of X-ray, but they will ask what will be the kinetic energy of electron. So it's a very tricky. So first you have to change, we have to find what will be change in lambda. So this, from this formula you can find the change in lambda, and then you can use this formula and you can find this thing. Second thing, what will be the scattering angle if phi is given? If phi is given, what will be a scattering angle? So let's try to find this particular thing. To finding this particular thing, we will just go for conservation of momentum expression. So we have conservation of momentum expression. So first will be, you can just find hc upon lambda, or h nu, I can take in term of h nu also. So this will be h nu upon c will be equal to h nu dash upon c cos phi plus p cos theta. Theta is recoil angle, and this will be 0 is equal to h nu dash upon c sin phi minus p sin theta. What you will do, you will just take it this into this side, this into this side. So what you have h nu dash upon c sin phi is equal to p sin theta, and another is, you can take h upon c common, so that will be nu minus nu dash cos phi is equal to p cos theta. What you can do, you can just divide all this thing. So once you will divide, the unknown quantity p is cancel and h upon c is also cancel. So what you can do, you can just find that nu dash sin phi by nu minus nu dash cos phi is equal to tan theta. So once you can find the scattering angle of X-ray, you can also find what will be the recoil angle of electron. So once you can find this scattering angle, and again you can just write this thing upon c upon lambda dash by c upon lambda minus c upon lambda dash cos phi must be equal to tan theta, and then you can just write 1 upon, this is lambda dash, means lambda plus delta lambda by 1 upon lambda minus 1 upon lambda plus delta lambda. This will be sin phi and this will be cos phi, must be tan theta. So once you can calculate delta lambda, you can calculate each and everything. You can calculate what will be kinetic energy of electron. You can calculate what will be the recoil angle of electron. You can calculate what, but before that you have to calculate what will be delta lambda. So you can see these all things we can calculate it with the help of particle nature. With the help of, we have just assumed that X-ray will hit the electron just like as a particle, and then it will just give some energy to electrons such that it can gain some kinetic energy, and all other part of energy can be produced the some another particular X-ray wavelength. And this experiment is not actually explained by your classical nature, such that light is electromagnetic wave, and if light will be only electromagnetic, yes, light is electromagnetic wave, because electromagnetic wave also explain lot of things, that you can explain interference, you can explain diffraction. These all things can be explained by the wave nature of light. But this Compton effect is not explained by that wave nature of light. This is only explained by the assumption that light is nothing but the photon. Now, there are some questions. What are these questions? So let's ask me question myself and then I will give you answer. What is meaning of free electron? Because it is very difficult that you can find free electron and you can just scatter it. What is meaning of free electron? Meaning of free electron is that here we can take the energy of X-ray will be very, very high compared to that ionization energy of electron from the atom. So for the ionization energy, you can have energy in term of electron volt, but this X-ray have energy in term of 100 electron volt kind of thing. So this is more or less 100 times more. So why in comparison of this particular electron, these are assumed to be free. First thing is that this effect is not for the tightly bounded electron. So why again we can say these are free. This effect is basically from the loosely bounded electron. What is meaning of loosely bounded? Meaning of that those electron which can easily ionize. So why we assume this is as a free electron. So this is the first doubt. I am just going to say that practically this is not free, but yes, in term of numerical values, in term of energy, this electron is treated as a free electron. First thing. Second thing, what will be difference between photoelectric effect and what will be difference between Compton effect? In the both case, we are putting the light on the electron and we have two different type of phenomena. First difference is all about that in the photoelectric effect, we have using very less amount of energy and we are working very less amount of energy in term of incoming light have energy in term of electron volt, and mainly the photoelectric will be for the that electron which is bounded electron. Means I am just trying to explain in a very weird way. Suppose this is some orbit, this is some orbit, this is some orbit, and if photoelectron, this is the inner orbit and this is nucleus. Suppose here is also electron, here is also electron. So all electrons are more or less bounded. But if X-ray will come to this electron, this will assume to be free. So it will produce the Compton effect. So it will produce the Compton effect. Now, and if the light of the less energy will come to inner or more tightly bounded than this one, then this will give the photoelectric effect. And there is one more phenomena which is not in your course. If the more energetic light will penetrate to inner part of shell, then it will give the pair production. So this is one of the thing. So this will give the pair production. So more or less photoelectric effect, if you can just give one liner, that photoelectric effect for the bounded electron. So I can write photoelectric will we tell about the bounded, and Compton effect for free. You can just use this word in ideal sense, but nothing is ideal. There are lot of thing, but we are just going for the very basic nature of this. So now, what are the main property we have observed into Compton effect? So the main property we have observed into the Compton effect is, I will just give you all the information. Let's come to first observation. First observation, delta lambda is independent of wavelength of incoming wave. Because you can see this is delta lambda, this will be h upon m naught c 1 minus cos phi. So whatever be the incoming wave, delta lambda change in wavelength will be independent, and that will only function of phi. This is only function of phi. Now, second, the Compton effect is, Compton effect means the delta lambda is more visible or more significant. Significant is more significant for electron than proton. Why? Than proton. Why? Because you can see delta lambda is inversely proportional to m naught. So m naught will be less, delta lambda will be high. M naught will be high, delta lambda will be very less. So why for the bounded, so if you have bounded electron, then this will be approaching to infinity. So it is very difficult to recoil the electron. So it will going to infinity, then this delta lambda will go to 0. So why? Because you can have delta lambda is proportional to mass of a particle on which the scattering is going to take part. And what will be the maximum for which quantity you have 0 value of this particular lambda, delta lambda? So for phi is equal to, so for phi is equal to 0, delta lambda is equal to 0, and this is for the minimum value, and for phi is equal to pi, delta lambda is maximum. So sometime they will not give the phi, they will just tell you that we will have the maximum change in wavelength, means you have to just go for phi is equal to pi and delta lambda is maximum, and that will be, I think, delta lambda is equal to 2h upon m naught c, and m naught is the mass of electron. So for the electron, h upon m naught c have some particular number. This is known as basically Compton length, because this is nothing but the dimension of length, because this is dimensionless, this is dimension of length, then this is also dimension of length. Then this value is known as 2.46 into 10 to the power minus 12 meter. So this will be known as Compton length. So these are the main observations, and you can use all these things from this numerical value. And again, we can say that light is a particle, but same time light is a wave. It is a very obvious question, sir, is that light is particle or light is wave? What you will give the answer? You will give the answer, light is wave as well as particle. In some experiment, the experiment can be explained by that wave nature of light, but in some experiment, the experiment can be done by that the particle nature of light. When we are doing the particle nature of light, we assume light is photon, and which is massless in nature, but its energy is all about your energy of all is function of frequency or wavelength. But when you are going for this wave nature of light, then you can use the electromagnetic behavior of light, and you can just use the field equation of electromagnetic field equation, and you can discuss all different kind of situation. Already you have done into your either your EMT or your optics classes. So don't be bothered that we can say that light is only particle or light is only wave. So in the next week, in the weekend class, I will take the modern physics, but another then we can also start this particular quantum mechanics. Then you have to see that we have to discuss both the thing together. It's all about thing when you are observing which experiment, and that experiment can be explained by right now two theory, either wave theory or particle theory. So on this note, this is the all mathematical thing about Compton effect, and whatever be the next level of analysis, we will do it tomorrow with the different type of problems.